What's up, y'all? You already know this is your favorite international podcast, Dear Christian Black Girl. I am your girl, Jerry Alicia, and I have my two sisters with me, Takesha Morris and Tiffany Dillard. What is up, y'all? So,
Can I
y'all
just start off
listen.
by saying our
Yeah.
intro is bomb? Like I was over here like, yeah,
Like, yeah.
our intro is bomb. You did that, boo. You
I
did that.
mean, I did. Y'all be having me working. Y'all, let me tell y'all about Takesha and Tiffany. They be having your girl working because they know that I'm a graphic designer. So what do? They call me for everything.
Why wouldn't
Well,
they? Like,
I got enough to do.
Tiffany. I'm gonna look at you on my screen. You right here, Tiffany. What else would we do?
I mean, I just said well. I don't know what.
You've been saying well a lot lately, and I feel some type of way about it. But we're not going to get into that right now.
That's
Y'all,
sisterhood. That's
guess
friendship.
what?
It is. It is.
Y'all, before we even get into Sisterhood, can we just give it up for the Dear Christian Black Girl podcast? We are officially 1 year old. Y'all, we've been consistent for a whole year. We have been dropping episodes for one whole year. So let's just go down memory lane just a little bit.
Whew.
So last year, I called my girl Takesha. So for those of y'all that know, I have a company called Womb Prep, an organization, a ministry, all of those things called Womb Prep. And what we do is we encourage, empower, pray for all the things for women dealing with infertility. And so last year I was just getting into doing reels. And I was like, oh, I want to do a reel about Black women and infertility and how there's so much stigma, how we think like God is going to punish us because we, not support, but we are thinking about doing IVF. And so I had a reel planned out for that. And I was going to call it Dear Christian Black Girl, It's Okay to Know Your Options.
Ooh.
That's what it was supposed. Remember, we had this conversation because I was in my parents' kitchen while I was talking to you, and so I called Takesha because I'm Takesha's graphic designer, but Takesha is my business and creative strategist. Like
Mhm.
half the ideas that I come up with is from a conversation with Takesha because the way her brain works, I'm like, I would have never thought of that, but appreciate it. I'm going to take it. And she's like, go ahead, go ahead, right? And so I'm in my parents' kitchen. I'm on FaceTime with Takesha. I'm like, girl, I got this idea for a reel, and it's gonna be called Dear Christian Black Girl, Know Your Options. She was like, oh, that's a podcast. I said, for who? I got one podcast. I don't need another.
You
Because
did.
Moon Prep has its own podcast called Journey to Motherhood. I didn't need another podcast to manage. I was struggling managing Moon Prep because it was a lot. She was like, no, the world needs to hear this. This needs to be a whole series, a whole podcast. I said, you're gonna join me. She was like, wait, what? I said, no,
Yeah.
I was like, this is like, if I gotta do it, you gotta do it. You're with
I
me.
wasn't
You're
signing
going
up
to
for all
join
of that.
me.
No, I was
I was
like,
like, absolutely not. You're joining me. She was like, okay. And so we started talking. I was like, wait, this is not just for women with infertility. This is for all of us.
yeah.
And she was like, oh, you know what we can do? We can do it on Clubhouse. So originally, Dear Christian Black Girl was just supposed to be on Clubhouse. But then about 5 minutes later, literally,
Literally.
I was thinking, I was like, yo, this could be an actual podcast on everything.
Yeah.
And so literally the next day, I did the original trailer for Dear Christian Black Girl, and then I signed us up for all the podcast outlets. And here we are a year later, y'all.
Here we are.
I am so excited because listen, the first season we was mad inconsistent.
Can we talk about
Takesha,
that?
so this happened like the first season, like after episode 3, Takesha's house situation happened.
Yes.
And she was like, yeah, girl, you got it. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. And I was like, you want me to talk by myself? Absolutely not. So I got guests to come on. But trying to coordinate schedules with busy people,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot going on. And so it was mad inconsistent the first year. However, in the first year, we had like 1,000 plays. I was like, but how?
No.
I was like, we got maybe 4. maybe 5
Uh-oh.
episodes.
Un momento, por favor.
What you doing?
I
'Cause I'm
forgot that
confused.
I'm a moderator on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, so it
So I went. So
automatically, yeah. And so, yeah, that's how Dear Christian Black Girl started. I just wanted to do one reel about Christian Black girls and fertility. That's all I wanted to do. But then I talked to the strategist herself, and her and Jesus they be in the lab cooking stuff up. And I was just like, how did I get here? How did I get a whole podcast? And then in season 3, no, season 2, we brought our sister Tiffany on because we was
yes.
like, because y'all know that Tiffany didn't want to be our friends at first, right? Y'all do know that, right? Like, we're not exaggerating. Tiffany did not want to be our friend at first, but y'all, we got her. We reeled her in. We was like, no, you're gonna be our friend, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. How about when I first met Tiffany in person?
You didn't even know.
I thought she was somebody else because she had looked so much like a girl who had been visiting our church, and I had been seeing her regularly. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, when I saw her, I was like, hey, whatever, and just went back because we were serving at an outreach event. And Tiffany just walked up, was like, hey, Takesha. And I was like, hey, girl, right? Because I thought she was somebody else.
She did the same to me, and I thought she was the same girl.
Right. So y'all, listen.
And I was fine.
She was absolutely fine with us, just because if you meet somebody for the first time and you all have been social media friends, it's this different level of excitement that happens because like now I get to see you like in the flesh, like you're a real person, you're not a killer, right? And so I thought she was somebody else, and I was like, hey, I gave her a hug, and we went back to working.
And I think it was like a week later.
Hour. It was probably like a good.
I didn't realize that she was her till like a week later. I was like,
no, I knew there because I think Chef said. Sorry, I think Chef said Tiffany.
Yeah. And I looked at you, and you looked because we were at an outreach event. Yeah. That's what it was. We were at an outreach event for Chef, and she said, Tiffany. I was like, now wait a minute, that can. Yeah. I was like, and I walked up to her. I said, girl, I thought you was somebody else.
I was like, Tiffany, like I was just so taken aback, and I was like, why didn't you say anything? And she was like.
That's literally what she did.
I thought she was somebody else. She would have left y'all. Ash, listen.
We got a comment. She said, "Come on, bullying introverts."
I mean, because sometimes you got to do what you got to do if you know they're supposed to be your friends, but they introverted and they don't be on that stuff. Sometimes you just gotta like me. I just popped up at an event, and me and Takesha have been inseparable. Sometimes you just got to do what you do. I'm saying that's all I'm saying.
It wasn't really let me just say this.
Y'all, before we get into that, we do have to play a game, but go ahead.
It was not a bullying thing. It was just I had threw sisterhood, any form of woman friendship in the trash, set it on fire, and rolled it down the street. So I wasn't with it.
Not setting friendships on fire.
I was.
Maybe she told us that.
Like, you could just sit it aside. You have to set it on fire.
No, it had to burn.
That's what she told us before. Remember, she was like, no, I didn't want to be your friends. I literally had to pray about y'all and say, where did they come from and who sent them? But the thing about it is that when I saw Tiffany, I just couldn't even believe that she didn't like say, it's me, Tiffany. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't say anything. I was just like, hey, and it kept moving. And then she was just like, and then Chef was like, Tiffany Dillard. And I was like, Tiffany Dillard?
Like, Tiffany?
And I was like, girl, I thought you were, I can't even remember the other lady's name now, but I thought that's who you were. And now we've been inseparable since.
I mean, yeah. And so Dear Christian Black Girl is literally us letting y'all into your FaceTime, to our FaceTime calls. Because this is literally like the randomness that y'all see on the podcast is literally how our FaceTime call goes. Literally one day, Tiffany was in the group text going off on Takesha, telling Takesha to get her life together. And we was like, well, wait a minute, girl. You didn't even say, hey. You didn't even say how y'all doing. Like, there was no greeting. Like, like, girl. Nothing. You a little aggressive today.
And I was like, whoa. I woke up like, what happened? Okay. You know what I mean? It was just so weird. So then we were like, I was like, yo, I said, Tiffany, you are part of the podcast now. And Tiffany was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, we do this conversation every day, all three of us. We
Literally
need
every day.
to, you know what I mean? Extend the podcast because our conversations be lit. I don't care what nobody
Listen.
say. Our
Takesha be
FaceTime
making
conversations,
smoothie bowls on
I
FaceTime.
be killing them
Tiffany done
on.
created a whole song on FaceTime.
So
and working on it.
Listen, we are writing our first produced song together. So for those of you who don't know, I'm a singer. I don't sing
The
very
lies you
well.
tell.
Am I not a singer, Tiffany?
She holds a joyful noise.
Period. So, I didn't say that I was a good singer. I just said I love to sing. And sometimes what happens is that the Holy Spirit will give me lyrics. He will give me lyrics based on scripture. He would give me lyrics and I would hear the tune and either I'll hum it down to Tiffany or I would call Shayna and be like, Shayna, I don't know what you're supposed to do with this. Take it. Do what you got to do, right? So, Shantae, you could take your eyes and put them somewhere else.
Shantae is like, girl, I know you in real life. Stop playing.
So we write songs, we pray. We have a fourth member of the podcast that you will meet. He's right, it's Dear Christian Black Girl, but he's an honorary member and we can't wait. We're coordinating something with him so y'all can meet him.
And the reason why we're on YouTube, according to him.
Brother Michael is the reason why we're on YouTube because I brought YouTube up to Takesha last season and she was like, yeah, no.
Because I be tired. It was doing too much. Yes, Shantae.
It was doing too much then, but not now.
Because our brother, he was like, get it together. And we were like, bet. You know what I'm saying? So,
and we're in the mornings.
Yeah, we are in the mornings. Because them nights was about to take us.
Okay, so let's talk about, so since we're celebrating our 1 year anniversary,
yes,
that is how I agreed to do YouTube. Because before, for those of you who have been rocking with us, we would record our podcast at night. And anybody who knows me know that Night and Keisha, they don't go together. Like, no, they do not go together.
Takesha's in the bed at 9. Like,
I need to go to bed.
We're working on it, Shantae. We're working on merchandise and t-shirts and a landing page. We're working on all that. Just be patient with us, child. We all got a lot going on. We all got businesses and ministries and
But nighttime, it was too much. And then I think I made a suggestion like, yo, why are we recording at night? Like, do y'all want to record it in the morning? And it also came, I think, out of a need because I would get off work. We would go right into the podcast. Tiffany would get off work. She had very limited time with her hubby. And, we would go right into podcasting. And so then we would have a follow-up call after the podcast. And I would be like, okay, y'all got 5 minutes. Because y'all know, like, I already checked
5 minutes.
I'm already out.
She's like, we got to cut it off right at an hour. I was like, that's not how our conversations work, though. So that's going to be a little weird.
Listen, I would literally be texting them.
Because we used to record at 7:30 Eastern time. At 8:29, she would literally text me and be like, okay, we got to wrap it up. Like, girl, I'm in the middle of a point.
I'm about to go to bed.
I was like, man, what is happening? What is happening?
When I say she will be in bed by 9 o'clock, y'all, straight up 9 o'clock.
Takesha don't be playing about being in bed. She be in the bed for real.
I'm in my nightgown and I'm in this bed. So y'all need to figure this thing out because 9 o'clock,
I'm out of here. Like, I have given. I could get, and then if we had to be on video while I was putting on my nightshirt, it's a wrap. Like it was.
Girl, why are you like this? So y'all, this is Dear Christian Black Girl through and through. This is us. You just got 3 friends that are absolutely crazy, and we just rock with it. But today, before we even,
y'all gotta take me down because I cannot stop thinking about how I would be sitting on here texting.
And she still does that to this day, y'all. Like,
she will do it to this day.
Like if I text her last night because I seen like it was a tornado in Chicago. I know she's not going to answer me until this morning. But luckily, me and Jerry are still up. And just like,
Right.
no, Chris is at home. I'm like, oh, okay, because I was panicking. So of course his mother would not be responding to me until 24 hours later.
I saw it this morning.
We know. Oh, we know. That's why I went
And
ahead and
Jerry,
texted her and
you
said
replied
no.
and said he's in
Yeah,
Atlanta.
he's
So I
still
was like,
in
I don't need to
Atlanta.
reply.
Yeah, I was good after that. I went to sleep, so I was straight.
That is
But
so
here's
funny.
the thing. That's what sisters do. They be checking for you when, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? So thank you for looking out. Thank you for looking out. But now
Absolutely.
we record in the morning, so y'all don't have to worry about me saying,
Wrap this up. Right. So, y'all, today we're going to play a little game just for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about some stuff. And so, in the past year or so, since I started recording 3 podcasts, because I have another podcast with my mom called The Daughter Seat, right? And it's me, my mom, and maybe some other people talking about different things as it relates to Christian things. So I literally am part of 3 Christian podcasts. Don't know why God has me a part of so many things,
Little
but it's a
podcaster.
thing. Yes, I'm child. Listen, and so um being somebody that podcasts, I watch a lot of podcasts because I like to see how things are set up. I like to see lighting, and I also like to see how other people flow because I've been wanting to know stuff. Right? I don't like school, but I like to learn, and so I be watching a whole bunch of podcasts. And so I found another podcast called Your Favorite Auntie's Podcast, and it's 2 friends in their 30s, so my age, in their 30s, and they're Christians, and they just talk about all the things, and they're both single, and so they just talk about, single life, dating life, Christian life, just life in general. And so on one of their episodes, they played a game called We're Not Really Strangers. And so we're going to play that game today because the We're Not Really Strangers brand, they have a friendship edition.
Wait a minute.
Yes,
She
they have
went out and bought a game, y'all.
Yes, they
Yeah,
have
she
a
was in
friendship.
traffic and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
But
this
how are we
game.
on this podcast together? You told us last week that we were going to play a game this week, but I thought it was going to be like 20 questions. Like, you know what I mean? I
Technically,
know you
yes,
went out.
you're not wrong.
No. You went out and bought a game.
I was always going to buy this game because it was always going to be a part of the podcast. So that's just what it was. And so the game is called We're Not Really Strangers Friendship Edition. On the back of the box, I think this is so cool. It says, you don't need a lot of best friends, just the right ones.
You do.
Period.
I'm about to thread that. I'm on Threads, y'all.
You finally signed up?
Yeah, because of Cassandra.
And so,
but it's so easy. Just get connected with your Instagram. All you gotta do is share everything from Instagram to the thread.
Oh, you can share from Instagram. I don't even know.
You didn't even know. You so bogus.
Everything with Facebook and Instagram is connected, so you don't have to feel like you're like on all of the socials doing all of the things. Just share.
Listen, while Jerry is unboxing the card game,
well,
I have given myself a 1-hour time limit on social media for the day because I was ridiculous in my social media-ing. And so I literally had to put it. So once my 1 hour is up, that's it.
That's funny.
That's it.
So with this game, you have 3 levels of cards. Level 1 is perception. And each card has a question on it that we're going to ask each other. Level 2 is connection. This allows us to get to know each other a little bit better. Perception is what we think about each other. And reflection is just us reflecting on our friendship. And so each person gets to pick whatever level they want. So you can pick level 1, level 2, level 3, and then I'll pick a card for you. Since we're not in person, you can't pick it yourself.
Okay. What's the name of it again?
We're not really strangers.
That's the name of the game?
Yeah.
I told her
Friendship edition.
The whole
Friendship
box
edition. Yeah. We're Not Really Strangers Friendship Edition. So they have a couples edition, a family edition, and a friendship edition, and a kids edition.
We're not.
I need to get the family edition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Now,
I do have to warn y'all, this is not a Christian game, so I don't know what these cards are going to say. But of course, I will use discretion. I won't ask you anything crazy, like about your sex life, because I really don't want to know what you was doing back then. Like, no. And so, okay. So, Takesha, you can go first.
Okay.
You want level 1 perception, level 2 connection, or level 3 reflection?
Level 1.
Level 1? Okay.
Wait, don't ask me yet.
Oh, okay.
No, not in a bad way. I was trying to thread.
Okay, so Tiffany, I'm gonna ask you because Takesha's doing stuff. You want level 1, level 2, or level 3?
I want number 2.
Okay, connection. This should be interesting. Ooh.
Oh Lord.
What are you still processing?
Thank God I didn't go first.
What is something that you are still processing?
And with our connection, right?
In general, what are you still processing?
Oh, I'm still processing my move.
Really?
I
Mm.
really am.
Why?
Because I mean,
Wait, tell the people what the move is.
Yeah.
so um in oh wow, God. In July 2020, my grandmother passed. And so we came to Texas. I'm from Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff to be exact. So
You sound like you was in a gang for a second. Oak Cliff.
Oak Cliff?
well, Oak Cliff was its own town, and then it was bought by the city of Dallas. So
Oh.
Oh,
yeah, I come from originators.
okay.
So, but when my grandmother passed in 2020, like we had like this big fish fry or whatever for my granny, and like my husband we was in my dad's backyard, and my husband was just sitting there, and God was just like, this is everything that you want, because my husband is big on family, and he's one that wants to order the family to be restored. So when he was sitting there, of course, God told him that in July of 2022, we will be moving. And so I was, well, he didn't tell me then. He was just kind of like, okay. My uncle was sitting beside him. So my uncle was like, nephew, you all right? Like, you having a whole conversation over there by yourself. Like, you good? Because of course he had a little couple drinks. And so he was like, you straight? Just, I'm just checking on you. So when we got back home, he didn't tell me until we got back home. And so when he told me, I was like, yay, because that's been one of my desires in my heart. And what I've learned now, that God put that there. And
Of
so,
course, yeah.
of course, when to
Uh-oh.
moving, I was, for somebody that was so excited about moving back home, I was hesitant. And I didn't start packing, because then I went from, how like Honey Shrunk the Kids, and how like everything just like I shrunk and everything got big. And I was just like, how are we gonna do this? But what if we can't move at the time? What if no, let me go back. Thank you, God. Okay, I'm gonna get it right. At first I had an attitude, because I was like, why you didn't tell me?
Oh
How you
no.
gonna tell him and not tell me? So I kind of put that favorite child, like, you always come to me first and then I tell him. But he kind of flipped it on me. He said, but you said you want him to lead, right?
Oh.
Okay, so it went back, so I digressed on that. And then it was really just weird. I started shrinking, because it just started getting big, like the idea of, like, we're moving to Texas, and I don't know why it got big, because we moved from Kentucky to Georgia. So I just don't understand why it got big, but it just really got big. I started just to get nervous. I felt like, how is this going to happen? How is this going to get done? And as I just kind of went on, I didn't start packing. Like, I didn't do anything. And then eventually God was like, oh, okay, so you want me to confirm my word? Oh, I got you. So he started confirming. So people was like, I would just be in rooms, and people would be like, if God told you to move and you getting prepared for your house, you need to be packing your boxes now. That's how you walk in faith. And I heard that once. God speaks to me in threes. So when I heard it the third time, I said, okay, I'm going to Walmart and I'm going to get the boxes. So we end up getting packed. We end up started saving. But as we started saving, it was like everything was happening. It felt like somebody cut a hole in our pocket. And every time we would put money in the savings, we would have to use it. It would never stay. And I'm like, God, this ain't looking how it's supposed to be looking. And then my desire was for us to get into a house because God gave me a vision of the end of the thing of us at a closing table with us getting the house. So my mind, I'm like, we're getting the house. And that didn't go. My cousin that was my realtor now, he's like, oh, just, yeah, well, you got some time. He was like, no, the housing market ain't right. Just wait for a year. And I'm like, what? So that didn't work out. So I'm like, are you sure? And then maybe my husband got to the point where we was like, maybe we should move in 2023. Maybe we want 2022. Well, one phone call changed everything. So we're here. And being here when we got here, it was a struggle. We didn't have stuff for 3 weeks. Like the whole move was horrible. Like we got here, we were like, yeah, we made it. We done crossed over. You know, I'm like, yes, we're in the promised land. And I'm just so happy. And then we sitting here 3 weeks with no clothes. Like literally, y'all. The only person they have, I have a bonus son. So my bonus son always comes with us for the summer. So he had all of his stuff. But me and my husband literally only packed a carry-on bag worth of clothes. So I was literally having to rewash the same clothes for the next 3 weeks. So everybody was asking us, like, what y'all doing for the summer? We're not doing anything. We have no clothes to go anywhere. Like, we're just wearing the same clothes. And we're really not even trying to be around y'all because when we come with the same clothes. So we were having to spend extra money. So it was a lot. We had to go through a lot in that process. And I'm like, okay, God, is this it? But every day it's a process because I don't know what's going to be happening from one day to the next. And God has literally stripped the control. So I can't plan anything. I don't know what's going to I have no clue. I just get up, pray, and ask God how our day is going to consist and just move forward. So I don't know.
But listen, that's literally how it should be.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
That's literally what faith is.
It is.
So you're still processing that move.
Yeah, because I'm just like, wow. You know, he told me one of our assignments was our family, but...
And you're seeing that come to life.
Oh. Woo! Jesus.
Child. Okay.
We have a whole story on that, y'all. But yes.
I don't want to be a part of the story.
Listen, because you're gonna make me throw up again, and I don't want it. We're not talking about because you roped y'all. Tiffany be roping us into stuff, and we be like, "How did we get here?"
In Tiffany's defense, Tiffany didn't rope me into this shenanigans.
No, she did. She did
not.
Tiffany was explaining the situation to me, and she said, "I wish Takesha was on the phone,
but I wasn't. I was asleep.
No, you weren't.
It wasn't midnight.
No.
It was in the middle of the day. It was like
just like 7 p.m.
Yeah,
no, it was like 7.
You know, we teetering at that point. We teetering on good night.
So which card do you want? So Tiffany is still processing her move. You want perception, connection, or reflection?
Number 1, perception, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do perception. Let me turn off this light because it's messing with my eye. I can hear you though. Let me just turn off this light.
Okay. What is one small detail you remember about the first time we met?
Oh, that's a good one. So I already shared the detail about when I met Tiffany in person because I thought she was somebody else because they really do look alike. But now that I know you, y'all don't look nothing alike.
They don't really look alike.
But the one detail that I remember when I first met Jerry in person, because I can't even say we knew each other on social media. The only thing
we didn't interact.
We didn't interact at all. We were in the same wife group. We had become Facebook friends, I think, just from way of the group.
Yeah.
But we didn't talk. Like, it wasn't like we liked each other's, like nothing. We had no interaction. But I think what stands out to me from when we first met is that you walked in like you had known me my whole life.
I kind of did. Now that I think
not in a pretentious way, but in a way like, this is my girl. Like, she walked in like we had already established a sisterhood. Like, we were like, there was no like waiting period. It seems like we were just like sisters when you walked in, and I was like, Jerry, you know what I mean? Like, and she was like, hey, boo. And I was like, what are you doing here? And you were like, you invited me. You made it public. So you invited me. And I was like, oh my, like, and I think that's what has been like the running theme of our friendship is that you show up for me all the time without fail, even unannounced, even
I'm
when I want to put you out. Like you show up for
So
me.
let's talk about you wanting me to put my in my defense, I was listening to the Holy Spirit when I asked you that question.
I'm asleep, as the kids say.
You
So
can't
we had a
like
sensitive situation that nobody knew about. And Jerry just
I didn't
comes
even know
over.
about.
She literally comes over. She calls. She's like, what you doing? I'm at your gate. And I'm like at my house. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. She get there. We're sitting there shooting the breeze. And then she says, I won't talk about it, you know, just because. And I was like, you could leave now.
Literally,
Like,
that's what she said to me.
why? And she was like, I don't have anything to do with this. And she's like, well, obviously there's something there. It's something that's on your heart because you got, you know, it stirred you up too much. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. So you could leave. And Jerry's like, well, I'm not going anywhere. And I was like,
And I
fine,
sat
I'm going
and
there.
I literally sat back and crossed my legs like I dare you.
And there I go weeping about the situation. And I'm like, it's a desire of my heart. But you know what I mean? Like that first perception is that Jerry is a writer. That was my first perception, that it doesn't matter distance or anything. If she feels that God has called her to be a part of something, especially like a sisterhood and a friendship, she's going to show up. Crystal, Jerry popped up. And she didn't pop up with like Krispy Kreme. You know what I'm saying? She
No,
didn't
I
pop
didn't
up with
have.
like a
Actually, I
chicken
ate some food
biscuit.
out of your house. I think
Shantae-
that day. I think I ate some.
She
Yeah.
said you and pop-ups are no good.
No good. No good. And see, she is my sister, so she knows that like I need a strong 3 weeks to process visitors. I don't care what nobody says. Like, I need 3 weeks before and I need 3 weeks after, but I'm getting better. But no, Jerry, my first perception of you, I was like, oh, she's very trustworthy. Because she didn't come into, like, I was hosting my first book signing and she came for me. I think sometimes what happens is like, if it's a public event like that, sometimes people will come to see how they can position themselves, you know what I mean, to be in the spotlight or position themselves to say, oh, you wrote a book, me too, you know what I mean, to come, you know, kind of come in and, you know, kind of take over what was happening. But Jerry walked in and I was like, what are you doing here? And she's like, you invited me. And I was like, but I didn't expect you to come. You know what I mean? Like,
Then you should have made it public.
Then I shouldn't have made it public, right? But I was so grateful because she walked in and she began to coach me. She coached me on how to operate in my book signing, how to operate as an author, how to stand in my authority as the author of Girl Get Your Mind Right. And she was like, all right, you're going to read an excerpt from your book. First, you're going to welcome everybody. You're going to thank them for being here. You're going to, and I was like, I got to sell books. Like in my brain, that just wasn't. And she was like,
I forgot about that.
people buy books at book signings and that's your table. You're going to sit there. So this is, and she literally, cause it was people I knew. So I was just going to say, hi, y'all, thanks for coming. I wrote a book. And if you kind of want to sort of kind of buy it, I have some. Like, that's how I have a t-shirt, you know, that's how the process was working in my brain. We was going to eat some snacks and we were going to go home. And Jerry was like, so this is what's going to happen. Okay. Let everybody finish their snacks. You're going to come forward. You're going to thank everybody for being here. You're going to give a little perspective about why you wrote the book. You're going to read a passage out of the book. You're going to let people know that they can get the book. It's over here. You also have t-shirts. They're going to line up over here. Put your husband on duty to swipe the card. Like, she literally, when I say she came in and was like, and that book signing ran like a well-oiled machine. So much so that when I did my next book signing in Connecticut, I was like, let's get it. Because I knew what to do, because my new sister had walked in and taught me. So she walked in bearing gifts. Like, she walked in with her arms literally open towards me. And so that was my first perception, is that Jerry was a writer. That was my first perception. And then my first perception of Tiffany was like, girl, you wasn't even gonna tell me who you were. Like, who does that? But Tiffany, I knew that you were guarded, right? Because even after I realized who you were, and you were just like, cool, now give me 50 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done said hi. So, but I can tell that there was a resistance for you, but not resistance from Holy Spirit. Like, you knew that this was, even though we were serving, this was our first introduction face to face, but this would be a sisterhood. And you were still like, yeah, no, I don't know about that.
Mhm.
I don't know about that.
Listen.
You know what I mean? And in person, like when I have to be on, like people don't know this about me unless you really know me, that I'm really like chill. Like I'm really in the cut, especially when I don't know people. But if we together and we friends, baby, you getting all of this. You getting all of it. And I was all of that for Tiffany. And Tiffany was just like,
yeah.
You see how she looking?
Okay.
Literally.
That's how she looked in person.
Was that not her face the whole time? Like, we serving people, like, because Chef put it down. Now, if y'all know anything about Chef Sha, when we do homeless outreaches with her, she does not serve people sandwiches. Like, that's not what
they get whole meals.
They have
get whole meals
in July. Like, we had fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens. Like, it was a whole situation. And we pack it. And not only that, but snack bags and toiletries. And so it's a whole production. And literally the whole time Tiffany was looking at us like, maybe having a conversation. I don't know. I could be wrong with the Lord. Like, I hear you, but.
And by this time, Tiffany had been
extra, like looking at
right. Tiffany was like, y'all doing a lot. Like, what is happening? And I think by the time we met Tiffany in person, she had been my client for like a year.
And she was an administrator in my group, like in my wife group. I had made Tiffany an administrator, so we was together.
Like, and I don't even think I had Tiffany's phone number at this point, even though she had been my client for a year.
She was like, if you needed to reach her, you can find her.
I was like, if
messenger, email. That was 2 forms of communication.
Like, so for anybody who is wondering what this show is about today, it's about friendship and
sisterhood.
That's what this show is about. So that's why we're having these conversations. But yes, so Tiffany said Jerry could find you. She's her client, but you can message me. You don't need my phone number. Tiffany, you was a mess.
And so Tiffany, you did connection, right? Or did you do reflection?
I did connection.
Okay,
no,
so
connection.
Yeah, you did perception, Tikisha.
I did perception. Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna do one. Oh, okay. So y'all have to fill in the blank. That's what reflection is. Usually, you have to give the answer, and y'all have to give the answer.
And we want y'all to chime in too.
Yes.
So the reflection is about you, Jerry. So it's a fill in the blank about you. Mm-hmm. So I want y'all to fill in the blank on.
Well, this one is kind of you'll see what I'm saying when I say it. Okay. Thank you for being understanding of my. Y'all be understanding a lot about me because your
fear the other day.
So thank you for understanding your or
oh no, I'm supposed to feel like I'm sorry. So thank you for understanding my need to hide because y'all really don't be letting me hide, and I just be like, I just want y'all to leave me alone.
Yeah, no, I don't understand that.
Me either.
I don't understand that. You better say thank you for understanding something else because that ain't it. We don't understand that.
No, thank you for not letting me hide.
I don't know.
That she be trying to.
Yeah.
Do, but we don't understand the hiding. That's just whack.
But like the time she tried to hide behind that job she wasn't supposed to be at.
Man, y'all are so bogus.
But so can we talk about that one? Look, Tiffany,
talk
about that?
What had happened was I was in my feelings because my business wasn't going the way that I thought it should go.
So tell us about your business real quick.
Listen,
plug.
Can I finish? So my business wasn't going the way that I thought it should go, and I felt like a failure. That it was a real feeling. I felt like a failure. So I was like, man, I'm not doing this no more. I'm finna get a work at home job. But the Lord told me that the Lord let me be in my foolishness because he knew that I was just going to do it anyway, right? Because sometimes that's what the Lord does.
And everything.
Yeah, that's what the Lord does. He's like, okay, you want to be foolish? I'm going to let you be foolish for a little bit. And so he let me be foolish. He let me get this job. and the job was call center. So anybody that knows me, I grew up in call center. Before I left my job in 2019, I was at a call center. I'm really good at making people feel comfortable and talk. That's one thing I realized about myself. So I was like, oh, this will be easy. The money is good. I ain't gotta worry about nothing. I can still do wound prep, but I'm not doing graphics like that. Like I'll do it whenever, whatever. And so I got a job. I told them I got a job. Takesha was like, oh, okay. Tiffany was like, what?
And please be clear, what was my okay?
So Takesha said, oh, okay. But what she meant was,
said,
you big dummy,
I
why?
said, so how do you feel about that?
I was just like, it's good money. It is what it is.
I said, okay. And every day, what would I ask you?
Listen,
What would you say?
every day afterward, she would
I
ask
stubbed
me,
my
did
toe
you
and I would be
quit?
like, did you quit?
Literally,
I
she's
drank
like,
water
did you
today.
quit?
Did you quit? I had a phone call. Did you quit? Like every single day I would ask because I would be
Every
like, what are you
single
doing there?
day.
These people done shipped you equipment. They done gave you an employee ID. You now gotta get a W-2 from these people to file taxes.
She done went through a full orientation.
I did go through a full week of orientation. And then a week later I quit.
A whole week later.
I was like,
it may have been a week and a half. But I can be honest, say the only reason I quit is because the Lord told me that I still had that too, but the Lord told me that I still had to do wound prep. And so wound prep has monthly things on the calendar. Yeah, Crystal, a whole week and a half. Wound prep has monthly prayer every first Tuesday. And
Shantae said you did not quit for stubbing your toe. I wanted her to. If she woke up on the wrong side of the bed and her hair wasn't hairing, quit.
And so I had to quit because at the end of the day, I still had to do wound prep, and they were not willing to work with my schedule. And my schedule literally changed every single week, and I'm not by that life. Like, give me a consistent schedule. Am I working 8 to 4, 7 to 3? Like, what is it? Like, don't be changing my schedule every week, and then every 3 weeks it changes again. And one day I worked 7 days straight, and I was like, oh, absolutely not. What I'm not gonna do.
Because I had called you on a Saturday and you was like, oh, I just got off work. And I'm like, what? We were so confused. Saturdays.
Yeah,
we were so confused.
Not that's against our religion. And
it is against our religion. I was so confused when you took that job. But then my heart was so sad because Jerry's
your heart was sadder than my heart. And I was like, oh.
It was because, like, you know your friends, right? I told you how when Jerry showed up, her arms was wide open, right? Now, when God gave her the business of Halo Creative Services, like, she knows she couldn't run from womb prep if she tried, right? That's a no-brainer.
And like, honestly, I really be
she has tried.
Womb prep is a lot.
She has tried. But when it comes to Halo, she tries to run from that too, but it's also a gift from God. And so when I saw her take this job, I was like, why would you do, like, it just broke my heart because I know that as a business owner, when things don't go the way, you know, you think they should or whatever, but I'm like, I don't know what you see, but I see a thriving, lucrative business. And maybe it doesn't look like that in your bank account, but I know what Halo is. You know what Halo is. And I think that the importance of sisterhood is for us to be able to call each other back.
You know,
even when it doesn't, go. Can we take her off the screen for a second?
But I'm the producer of this show. You cannot take me off the screen. Oh, wait, actually you can, because you are the producer in my StreamYard. I forgot about that. But no.
No, but no, seriously, like, I think that the point of our sisterhood is for us to be able to call each other back to what God has said. Like, I think that that's the importance of sisterhood, that I'm not just your sister when times are good or so we can laugh and kiki and eat Krispy Kreme, right, but as a reminder of the promise when you say I'm getting a job and we like, I mean, if that works for you, but we over here praying like God. And what happened? We were praying. And I know we were praying, Tiffany, because didn't you ended up getting a contract and they paid it in full? You called us and was like, oh my God.
So listen, that's not the only thing. So listen, the week after I quit the job, I got a inbox from a Christian publisher, and she was doing an anthology, and she was like, I really, want to pour into your business, so I want to give you this business. I'm going to set up a meeting with all the authors, and it was like 10 authors, right? And so she was like, I want you to do the book covers and the websites for all the authors. That was the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened was I got residual business from the authors in that anthology, and one of them paid for a website in full. I was like,
in full, invoice, stamped, and paid. And I think that, like I know that you like to hide, because Jerry always talks about like my brain. Like Jerry always talks about how my brain works. But that's what I love about the three of us, because we can see like the different facets of God in each other. Like Jerry is the daughter of worship. Like that's what I want to call. I was about to say the queen of worship, but she is the daughter of worship, because like when Jerry goes into worship, you can't touch her there. Like nothing, anything that ain't supposed to be moving is dead. Anything that's supposed to be living is resurrected. Like period. It just goes down. So when she finds herself in these places where she's like, I'm going to get a job and they agreed to pay me $12.17. When you got clients who are willing to pay you $12,000, I'm like, how do we get here? And I will always say, go worship. Like, go worship. And she's like, I can't, and hiding, right? I don't know. And I tried. And I'm like, go worship. That's your strong place. No, I'm not sure. Are you sure? And I'm like, what? Like, nobody touches you there. Like, you come out with swords like, who's get like, so that part, it broke my heart when you got that job. And every day I would be like, you quit?
you would ask me that multiple times a day, actually.
Did you quit?
Well, I just said, well.
Yeah, so when I told them I quit, the only thing Tiffany said was, well. I was like,
it's about time.
That's all you gonna say is well.
Did you get your paycheck? Like, did they?
I did get a paycheck, and I was so happy.
I was like, did they pay you? Did you have time to make it through the payroll process?
Yes.
But it felt like you worked there for like 7 months, though.
It was only a week and a half time.
Didn't it feel long, Tiffany? Like
it did feel long. It did feel like you were there for a couple of months.
Like we was punching in, right? It felt long.
Y'all are so retarded. Okay, so we're gonna do one more round. Takesha, 1, 2, or 3?
I don't know.
These cards are something serious, right?
Choose for me. I'll let you choose.
Okay.
No, I said you choose.
Well, I'm choose 2 because you chose 1 before.
Oh, okay. I declined to answer.
Jeez.
Okay, go ahead.
What's the hardest part about making new friends for you?
Un momento, por favor.
Exactly, Shantae. That's why it seemed long to them, because I wasn't available to do their stuff.
Yeah,
that's
because
why.
that Saturday thing, I'm coming out of Walmart, my favorite place to be, and I'm like, you at work? What?
I ain't get that.
Why you was working today? That's ridiculous.
And remember that time he was like, I'm working this Saturday. I said, you should quit.
You said that every day, literally.
Every day.
We was not encouraging of the job.
Not at all. Y'all did not encourage.
But I gave you the well that guy, because I could feel him saying, look at your sister. She done figured it out. Like, well.
About time.
Ash, are you going to answer this question, though?
Ash said it is rigged. Shantae says it's sociable. I'm sociable, but not sociable. So here's the hardest thing. Okay, repeat the question.
What is the hardest part about making new friends for you?
Okay. So I'm going to act like I'm on the spelling bee and repeat. Can you repeat? Can you use that in a...
I'm not repeating this card again.
So I think the hardest part about making new friends for me is 2 things. Number 1, I like to be with just my family. Like, I like to be with my husband. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that sometimes friendships, to have good friendships, we know you have to there's a give and take. Like, you got to show up for them. You know what I mean? You got to be, somewhat available. Like, there's a exchange that has to happen with friendships. And I'm not always willing to compromise. I'm not always willing to compromise in that way. I actually had a friendship that actually fell apart because I wasn't as available, as they wanted me to be. And that friendship, Jerry, dissolved. And that really bothered me. That really, really bothered me. But the biggest thing, maybe that was number 2, that I like to be with my man, period. But the second thing, maybe the more important thing, is that I get in my head too much. So when I meet new people, I'm always in my head wondering, like, what do they think about me? What is their internal dialogue saying about me? And what happens is, because I have a very creative brain, I can take myself on this rabbit hole of what you're thinking about me without ever even knowing what you're thinking about me. And so, that internal dialogue that I have is extremely exhausting, and I try to turn it off when I meet new people. But I think that is the hardest part for me, of meeting new people and new friends, because I'm always trying to figure out, what are you thinking? Are you really around me because you really don't like me, but you think I may have something? Because that has happened to me. Like, you are in my sphere of influence because you think, that I have something, and that I'm gonna freely give it to you if I care about you. And so that part, has always been hard for me. It's just, I just overthink the process a lot. I overthink it a lot. And then I also don't, like I said about being available, I don't want you to think, because we friends, that if you call me, I'm always supposed to pick up. Like, that's the hardest part, when people don't understand boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I can't always be available for you. I have a family, I have a job, I have a business, I have a ministry, I have responsibilities. So when people don't understand that, and they don't have, boundaries, it's just kind of hard. But the biggest takeaway is, I just overthink everything.
And I think that's one of the best things about our friendship is, I know you have, I'm just gonna call you back. I'm just gonna call you 3 times. And
but the good
you
thing about what I
answer.
love about us is that we pretty much know each other's schedule.
Yeah.
And if we may not, even if we don't get on the phone with each other, we may have the capacity to text. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about us, is because we're all married. You know what I mean? And so we understand the sanctity of our marriages.
Yeah.
Jerry, no, Tiffany, no. If I'm talking to you and your husband walks in the room, all right, boo, I'll talk to you later. And they're like, no, he's fine. No, I gotta go. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jerry and I have experienced that. Douglas may be coming home from work, and I'm like, we could be in the thick of it, like, girl. And then I'm like, all right. She's like, no, he's fine. He's going upstairs to take a shower. We got like 15 minutes bet. Right. But other than that, it's just like goodbye, and understanding those kind of boundaries, and letting your friend be them. Like, you don't have to have every waking moment of your friend's time. But I also don't think about anymore what y'all think about me, because I be like, take it or leave it. Like, you getting all of this. Wow. But I also trust y'all. I know that y'all have my best interests at heart. So I never think that, oh, is Tiffany thinking, like, I don't really, or is Jerry, like, I don't have those thoughts about y'all.
Yeah, we don't really have that issue in our friendship
anymore.
Anymore.
I don't think like that. Not that they ever did that, but my own internal dialogue is like, is this real? Is it not? Is it real? Is it not? Because my friends have been my sisters and my cousins.
Yeah.
Mine too.
And they tell me straight up, like, I got kicked out of the circle.
Y'all, will you stop talking about this workout circle?
No, it ain't the workout circle.
Oh, so, you got kicked out of another circle?
Baby. So my sisters and we have what we call a cousin connection. And it's my cousin Toya, myself, my sister Shantae, my sister Tracy, and my cousin Brittany. And we were all raised like, and my cousin Michael, we were all raised like siblings. So we call ourselves the cousin connection. And there was a time when I was really going through, it was like depression and uncertainty. It was just like a whole lot of stuff. And we always did stuff together. And I stopped showing up. Like, they would be like, oh, we doing this, I can't make it. Oh, we doing that, I can't make it. And they was like, well, bet we ain't inviting you no more. And they did not invite me anymore. And I was like, did I get kicked out the circle? Yes, I got kicked out the circle. And they waited for me to circle back around. And when I came back, they welcomed me with open arms, but they let me know what it was. I didn't have to wonder where I stood with them. I didn't
Yeah.
have to wonder if, oh, I'm back, we hanging out again, but they talking about, like, I didn't have, they talked about me. I'm sure they had a group chat outside of me and they was talking about me, but then they talked about me to my face when we all got back together. So I
Oh,
didn't
so
have
like
to
we
worry
do.
about where I stood. And that's what I think a good friendship is. You don't have to worry about, like, I can tell you that I'm upset with you without trying to tear you down or
Yeah,
without making you
absolutely.
feel worse than whatever it
Without
was.
being disrespectful.
It not being disrespectful. And then we gonna move on and go to Fridays and eat, Jack Daniels wings and call it a day. And that's what it was. And so I didn't know how to operate outside of my cousin
Mm,
connection.
gotcha. Okay.
But here we are. Here we are.
Tiffany, your turn. I think you did connection last time, so you're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
perception. You want to do
Yeah,
perception or reflection?
we can do a reflection.
Okay.
Oh, is somebody ringing each time a text come through or a comment come up?
No, that's probably me.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, love you, Chris.
Oh, I think we probably know the answer to this, but we can still say this live. When was the last time you had a big win, and how can we celebrate?
Oh, that's good.
Right? These cards are really good.
I'm already ready to celebrate. Look, YouTube has the celebration thing. I'm about to already start putting it up.
Oh, well, my book got received by Bishop.
Oh yeah, that is right. Yeah.
So
Tell us about it.
I haven't have a well. God told me when we was living in Georgia that I needed to send Bishop a copy of my book and a letter just thanking him because
What?
Who's
go ahead.
Bishop? Who's
Oh,
Bishop?
Who's your
Bishop
bishop?
T.D. Jakes, guys, the senior pastor of the Potter's House.
So
So
done.
he told me to send him my book and a letter in Georgia, and I was just like, and the point of this would be, and he was like, just send it to him. He said, because a lot of people, like a lot of times when you're in leadership, you pour into a lot of people's lives, but you don't really get everybody's testimony. You don't know how you are affecting people's lives. And, believe it or not, they do wonder those things. Like, how am I affecting my congregation? Are they getting it? Are they understanding it? And is the ministry being effective? Like, they have those questions. And so he told me, and I was like, yeah, like this is a man that's written 47 books. What does he need my book for? Like at this point. So when we got here, we was in church and he had a moment. He kind of broke down and he was just like, kind of like, do y'all feel me moment? Like I'm here for y'all. I'm that pastor to where I'm reaching out to y'all and I want to know. And I know I can't hear from everybody, but it would be amazing just to hear from everybody. So God reminded me, he said, you need to send Bishop the book and write him a letter. So I did. Because it is space and place and time in Georgia. When I first moved to Georgia, Bishop was my lifeline. And he, even though he didn't know me, I was just watching him on TVN, but he kind of drew me back to God because I was in a dark place when we first moved. And so it was a place to where I didn't feel like I felt alone. I had never felt alone because I felt like I was alone from God as well. Like nobody existed. And so he was that voice to kind of let me know, like literally in one of his messages, he said, you're not alone. And that kind of just stirred something within me. So I ended up sending him the book. Like I hesitated for a minute and I do have a problem with that, y'all. So don't judge me.
Oh, we're
But
judging you. We're
I
judging you.
I did it. I did hesitate for a minute. And I was like, well, I don't have any copies of my book. And God was like, order some. So I did
There's
order some
that.
copies of my book. And I wrote a book called The Reflection of Me, Finding You and God Through the Pain. It is on TiffanyDillard.com if y'all want to go and purchase it. So I sent him the book and I also sent him the letter. So of course I have informed delivery from the USPS. And so I seen something was coming from the church and I was like, oh, okay, that's probably my annual tithe stuff. Because normally they'll send it like in the middle of the year. So I was like, it's probably my annual tithe document or whatever, which I throw away anyways. I don't feel right filing it for an exempt. That's my seed I'm sowing. How am I going to turn around? How am I going to turn around and try to get something off my taxes? Like, come on now, that's not what I'm doing this for. So I throw it away. Well, I shredded and throw it away. And so it was a letter from his executive administrator, which is Miss Beverly. and they were basically just thanking me, basically just letting me know that the book was received. They gave me some words of encouragement, and I sent them a text message of a screenshot of the letter, but they actually received the book. And it didn't hit me until Takesha sent me a text. She was like, "Congratulations on your book actually being received by Bishop." And I was like, it was. Like, he actually has my book. Like, he received it. And he has it. It's not, it's not like something they just like, okay, this is just this letter. It's like, no, he received it. And I know that she kind of sends things out on his behalf because he'll write it up and he'll give it to her and tell her, okay, send this out. So I know he got it. And I was like, wow, he has my book. So that was a big win for me. I don't know. Don't ask me, y'all, why did I have to do it? I don't know. I don't know why I had to do it, but I know it's a purpose in it because God told me to do it.
Absolutely.
And so if he told me to do it, it's something he gonna do with it. So I don't know, but I just was obedient after the second time of being told to do it, and I got it done.
That's good. That's what's up. So, Takesha.
Congratulations.
Yes. So, Takesha, what does sisterhood and friendship mean to you?
Oh, that's a really good question.
It's not a question on the card. It's just a
I
random.
know. I could tell by the way you were looking at me.
Oh, my bad. How am I looking?
No, not in a bad way. It was just like this is off the cuff. But I think sisterhood and friendship means to me the family you really get to choose. Like sisterhood and friendship means having partners that you can do life with, where you can have experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, and you have support. You have an opportunity to share like your heart in the matters of a situation, and you have people who gonna laugh with you, who gonna cry with you, who gonna be like, "Did you quit?" You know what I mean? Like all those things that we're gonna be able to look back on our lives and know that we made it through the best and the worst of situations together. And I think that sisterhood and friendship is just an opportunity um, to like grow your family. Like one of the
Absolutely.
things like I think about growing up where we lived there, I have like 5 million cousins, right? And it's not because my aunts and uncles have 5 million kids. It's because of how we grew up in community, right? That people became my cousin, right? And so when I think about sisterhood and friendship, like y'all are truly the sisters I got to choose. Like I love my sisters, like you can't say nothing. Like Sherry's daughters don't, like, period, like you can't say nothing, but I got to choose y'all. And because of that, when my family faced a very devastating situation last year, my sister Shantae said, "Oh my gosh, they're alone," right? Because our entire family is in the north, right? We have a few family members who are in Alabama, but our core is in the north. And then my sister said, wait, no, she's not alone. She got Jerry, she got Shakim, she got, like, she began to, like, she got Cassandra, she began to rattle off. And what she did is she began to call them and say, our sister, right? She began to call y'all and say, our sister, right? This is what this is what's happening. And so to me, y'all became my family because now my mama asks how they doing, where they at, what they doing. My sisters are like, oh, we coming in, where they at? You know what I mean? So y'all are the family that I got to choose, and I'm grateful for that. That's what sisterhood means to me.
And I love it because like your mom's name Cheryl, and everybody calls my mom Mama Cheryl. And I thought about the other day, I said, oh, I get to do what they're doing. I get to say Mama Cheryl because at the conference, it was new.
She was all of our mothers, right?
Yeah.
Man, listen, Mama was doing her thing at the conference.
At the conference, I was just like, oh, I need to get myself, because it was the first time that I ever spoke at a conference. And to get the treatment of a speaker and how I've seen people be treated and taken care of as a speaker of a conference, and she would put that down. I got it. Just go sit down. I'm like, I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the protocol. I was Solomon. I didn't know how to come in. I didn't know if I bow. I didn't know what was I supposed to do.
Same, Tiffany. Like, same. There was Jerry again for me. Like, yeah. I didn't know.
So the conference we're talking about, was it 2019? 2020?
20.
So in 2020, uh,
Pandemic.
in 2020, Takesha hosted her conference. It was Takesha's conference. And Takesha tried to do all the things at her conference to the point where after the conference, I said, sit down. I made her sit down. I didn't let nobody come to her and talk to her and pull on her and all the things. Because y'all know, like, if you've ever hosted a conference or if you've ever preached or seen a preacher, like afterwards, people be trying to do a lot, right? So I was like, yeah, no. I was like, so every time somebody would come up to her, if it wasn't elder or co-pastor, I was like, I was like,
Un
what you want?
momento, por
I was like, what you
favor.
want her to know? Okay, I'll tell her. Because like it was a lot of people and she was trying to do all the things
My
and
adrenaline was
be
like
all the things.
all the
And
way
I
up
was
here.
like,
My
girl, if
G's.
you don't sit down, what are you doing?
But yeah, my mother loves y'all. Like and my family is a very good judge of character. You know what I mean? Like my family, what I love about how my nana raised us, right? I mean, we were raised by my mother, but like my nana had a very strong hand in raising us. And so how my family is like we either love you or we'll mess with you. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is that we don't have to agree on everything to be a part. Hey, Auntie Glow, that's my auntie there, y'all. I love you. It doesn't mean that we have to agree on everything, but my family is truly open and honest. Like if we rock with you, we rocking with you, period. You know what I mean? Like you never have to worry about where you stand with my family ever because my nana was such a woman of integrity and so honest and she cussed like a sailor, but that's neither here nor there because my nana would let you know what it is from the rooter to the tutor. You know what I mean? And I love the fact that my family has continued in that vein. Like, if you cool, we cool. But if we don't really like, if you kind of funny acting, like even if let's say my sister messes with you, but we really don't, we gonna speak, we gonna keep it cordial. But you don't have to worry about us talking about you when you leave. You know what I'm saying? This is what you gonna get when they be like, "What y'all think? That's your friend." Okay, so what? Who frying the fish? You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't nothing to talk about. And so when my family like embrace y'all, like that's one thing I love that I don't ever have to worry about my family being cool in your face and then turn around like, girl, she a mess. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about that. And so, yes, we was raised. That my aunt said we were raised to depend on each other. We absolutely was. And so having that in an extension of a friendship, because I can see that y'all were raised with strong families as well because of how y'all treat me. Like Tiffany up in the middle of the night, there's a tornado and I'm asleep.
Unbothered.
Unbothered,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
we watch the news. The Dillards watch the news, and so when
Yeah.
I seen it was a tornado, I think the other day, and I was like, "Whoa, what?" And Mike was like, "I said, hold on, look, Chris," but I forgot all about it's the summer. He's at
But that's
home.
how it is,
But
right? With
right,
Sisterhood, like Chef will call, Cassandra will call, Chantanelle will call, Jerry call, Tiffany call. Like we call and check in. Like we don't have, like we talk every day, but we don't all have to talk every day to know where we stand with each other. And I think
Right.
that is the beauty of sisterhood and friendship, that I don't have to talk to you every day to know where we stand. I don't have to worry like, oh, I ain't talked to Tiffany today. Is she acting funny? Did something happen? I don't, that don't be going through my mind at all anymore about relationships because
Mm-mm.
we have authentic connection. And I'm so grateful for that. What does it mean to you, Jerry?
So sisterhood and friendship to me, it means that I always have an ear to listen and a shoulder to cry on if I need it. Because I have a biological sister, but we're 15 years apart. And so when I was born, she literally had to take care of me while my mom was working. And my mom would make her take me everywhere she went. And so the boys would make fun of her. And so there's a whole thing, right? That's a whole thing, right? And so I love my sister, but we don't talk every day. We talk when we talk. And I used to ask my mom and my dad for a sibling, and they looked at me like I was absolutely insane because they had me when they was in their 30s. They was like, "Girl, you it? What are you talking about? You are it, right?"
No, ma'am. I can hear Mother Teresa now, little girl.
No, she'll call me my middle name, Alicia. That's how I know I'm in trouble. No, how I really know I'm in trouble with my mom when she says Jerry Alicia. What did I do?
It's not. And you know she power to the people, so you don't mess with Mother Teresa.
Right.
Okay.
And your dad is so straightforward. He just
And so
like,
my dad is
that
the
makes
coolest
no
dude,
sense.
the coolest dude.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, Shouty. Like, Dad, why are you calling me Shouty
Not
though?
Shawty.
Like, he'd be like, what's up, Shouty? Dad, really? That's what we do.
Really?
And so my parents are in their 70s now, and so it's a whole thing. They are absolutely insane. But for real, sisterhood and friendship to me means I don't have to worry. I'm safe. Like, if I don't feel safe with you, I will talk to you, I will speak to you, but I will not call you. You're not finna know none of my business. It's just not what's gonna happen. And so with y'all, I know I'm safe because y'all let me be me. When I'm in my feelings, y'all let me be in my feelings. Y'all tell me about myself, but you still let me be me. You don't hold it over my head
No.
in a serious way. You might hold it over my head like y'all do the job, but not in a serious way where I have to wonder where I stand with y'all, right? Like I don't ever have to wonder if y'all love me. I know that somebody could come up to y'all and say, Jerry said, y'all be like, you lying.
You're lying. Let's call her together. And I think to that point, Jerry, I think that's so good. And you know what? I don't know why I was thinking about this yesterday, but I was thinking about that. If you have a relationship with somebody and somebody that you don't have a relationship can come in and say anything to you and you just take it at face value, like you take like what somebody else says and it's like, oh, and you kind of run with it. To me, were we ever in relationship?
We was.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So
I'm
that
dealing with
part, to
that.
your point,
I'm literally wrestling with that now with another person, and I'm just
see,
like,
it's like how you when you know my character, you know my integrity, you know who I am. Like, what would make you question me over thee? You know what I'm saying? Like, what would make
right,
you question me over this person you don't have a relationship with? That's
Yeah.
right.
weird to me. What about you, Tiffany? What's your definition of sisterhood and friendship?
Well, it's safe for me now. Um, Not to say that I don't have the sisterhood and friendship, because I do. I have over a 30-year friendship. You know, I have a cousin, and then we have a mutual best friend. Well, best friends. One of them is deceased, but we've been friends. It's funny because me and my cousin was together, and then our two best friends that came in were best friends when they were young.
Hmm.
So we all met each other like between 7 and 8, and then we came together. So we went through childhood, teenage years, going into adulthood. So I know what it is, but they always used to tell me, you have to get friends outside of us. Like, it's not, we're not always going to be around each other, and we wasn't, because we moved. Everybody moved. And so I was like, look, I done tried this sisterhood thing with folks, and they acting like we got to be a Girl Scout troop number 6, or if
No,
we
not.
everybody got to
Wait
look
a
alike, we got to dress
minute.
alike, we got to talk alike. It's a bunch of foolishness. And I'm like, and then somebody getting their feelings, and then now they don't want to talk, and I ain't got time for that. Like, I was used to a friendship that, like, if you had a problem with me, you may have to gather yourself, but then we're gonna have our conversation.
Yeah.
If we mad, we had our conversation, but it wasn't like you coming to what's you all right. And it's just like, you got this whole attitude. You've been sitting with this whole attitude festering you for weeks. And so that's where I was like, and then my last group of friends before y'all, it was like, this one mad at that one.
You look
Then
so.
you
Wait a
want to
minute.
be
Wait. You look so exasperated just thinking about
it
it.
was a lie. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna be friends with the guys, because they just simple. They play the game. They talk about what's on social media. I'm a football head, so I'm like, I just roll with them. And
Go Cowboys.
we chill. Yes, we chilling over here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't a whole lot of extra. I'm cool. And I'm just gonna deal with my cousins, because my granddaddy always told us, y'all need no friends. Y'all each other friends. Like, literally, that was our family motto. Y'all need no friends. It's enough for y'all to be each other's friends. Y'all don't need no friends. And so that's where I was going back to, until I met y'all. And then it was just like, okay. And God was like, go over there with them. And I'm like, I'm not.
You want to
And
play
he
in our
was like, you can go
sandbox?
over there
Like,
with
you
them. They're
really, you
safe.
not.
And I'm like, I'm not. I don't, what I need to be over there with them for? I don't need no friends. I'm good. And he was like, they're safe. They're good. You can go play with them. And he literally brought it to him, because I'm visual. So he showed me a vision of us him and me sitting on the porch and they're playing in the yard. And he's like, go play with them. And I'm like, I'm not. I don't want to. And I held onto his
It's
leg
such a
like, I'm not
beautiful.
going anywhere. And then eventually he kind of, so he got to the point, I was like, okay, if you're not going to do it voluntarily, I'm going to force you to do it. So anytime something that I need, I would go to him. He'd be like, ask Jerry. And he'd be like, or ask Takesha. And I'm like, why? You are the all-sufficient one. Why am I asking them? I'm asking mere humans something that you can tell me like this is foolishness. And so, I just had to. He was like, you gonna get over there one way or the other. And then when I got to get to know him, and I, we exchanged contacts, because when I went to the event to feed the homeless and serve, I was just there for the homeless people. I knew that they were going to be there, but it was like, hey, just
She didn't even tell us she was coming.
She did.
She was Jerry's client, and she was an administrator in my Facebook group.
And we didn't know she was gonna pop up.
No, I was just there to serve and go home. That's all I was there to come to do. But now that I know that,
go lay down. Go.
It's safe, and then it's on a deeper level, because now my friends that are my childhood friends, there are things that I can't really kind of to go deep with them when it comes to like the word of God in our conversation that I can do with y'all. So when it comes to that, like, ooh, like I don't go to them, because it was funny because it was something I had posted in our cousin chat, because we have a cousin chat. So our best friend is in there, so she's just like a cousin with us. And so I posted in there, and they responded, and I was like, wait a minute, that wasn't for y'all, but hey, y'all needed it. So I'm gonna leave it there. Not that one for y'all. But then I was like, you know what, y'all needed that. And so I went on and posted it in our group chat, and I was like, don't do them like that. They needed that encouragement, because my sister was my cousin was like,
the girl said that one for y'all.
Like, amen. Like, yes, because I'm like, he was like, they still your family, and they need that encouragement. I was like, that wasn't for them. He was like,
yeah, it was.
Don't do that. And he was like, you good. And so it's a safe place for me now. But it did teach me with those other friendships that sister has to be earned. That's not something that you give out. That's not something you just say just because we are females. Oh, that's my sister. No, that is a earned title. Yeah. Because that puts that person in your core. And so that's not, it's a friendship, and then there's your sister and your sister.
Yeah, it's levels to this.
Yeah, because you can be friends with a lot of people.
You just don't get to sis level. Like, we got to go through some stuff for that.
Hey, Brother Michael.
Hi, Mike. Hey, brother.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, those of you who are listening, that's the fourth honorary member.
That's our fourth member of our podcast, Brother Michael.
We're gonna do a podcast.
You right, gotta bend down.
Hey,
ladies.
He coming on the podcast, y'all. So just all I'm gonna say is get ready.
Just get ready, because Michael
y'all get ready.
He be spitting some stuff, and we be like, wait, what happened?
Like, wait, how did we get ready?
What is going on?
It's gonna be good, y'all.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Oh, we ready. Wait, let me not say that. Let me not speak too soon, because I'm gonna be like Kevin Hart. No, I wasn't ready.
You're gonna be like, I'm asleep. Because we're gonna start the broadcast. Takesha gonna be like, I'm asleep. Girl,
I need tissue.
I have no clue, because at the end of the day, when it comes between his relationship with his father, I have nothing to do with that. I don't.
As you shouldn't. You shouldn't have anything to do with that.
I don't.
That's between him and his daddy.
I don't know what they be discussing. Like, I'm the one working on not sharing, oversharing. He be good on that. He be like, oh, okay. What? And then he'll say something. I'm like, wait a minute, you've been holding that the whole entire time? I'm struggling, and he done gave you the answer. And I'm just sitting here, God, well, I just need you to tell me something. And he be like, oh yeah, he said this, and this. Bruh, really?
You've been holding that
weeks ago, and I would have been straight. I'm over here.
It wasn't for you to know weeks ago.
No,
that's between him and his daddy.
Yeah.
But so sisterhood and friendship, that's what it means to me. Yeah. It means safety. It means I ain't gotta worry. I don't have anything to worry about. I don't have to wonder where I stand. I don't have to wonder if my business is gonna be out in these Atlanta streets if I didn't tell it myself. Because y'all know I'm good for telling my own business.
Yeah.
But I
I don't
mean,
need you to do
because
it.
and the reason I do that for a reason, the reason I do it is because if whatever I go through, if I can save somebody else from going through it, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so that's what sisterhood and friendship means to me. Yeah, Tiffany, she got a clock in to work, so we finna head off. But Tikisha, you got any last remarks, any last questions?
First of
um
all, I would like to give honor to God, who was the head of my life. I would
okay.
like to. That is true. That is true. I'm not joking about that.
No,
That's true.
that is
But I
true,
was
but I'm
being
just trying to
funny.
figure out where this
Yeah,
is
I was
going.
being funny, but I do want to thank God for the friendships that the Lord has allowed to come into my life. I pray that for everyone out there, that you would have a sisterhood, that it is not forced, um, but that you would allow yourself to be a friend so you can have a friend. I was a horrible friend, so I didn't have great relationships before. Um, but to when you do get a solid person who has become your friend, be a friend. And if you don't know how to do that, you can pray to God and ask him to teach you how to be a friend, because it's nothing worse than having somebody you think is in your corner and then finding out that they're really not. So if you don't know how to be a friend, maybe you struggled with honesty and integrity because of things that may have happened to you or in your life, and so now you're giving that same response to other people. Just pray and ask God to help heal your heart, so that you can be a good friend, and that God would show us who the people in our lives that shouldn't be there. Because sometimes, right, we don't question people who we think are in our corner, right? The Bible tells us to try the spirit by the spirit. We stop trying the spirit. We stop, praying and asking God, is this still the relationship that you want me to have? Are we integral? Are we upright? When you find yourself compromising in any friendship or any relationship, then that person has become your God with a
Mhm.
lowercase g. They have become bigger than the authority of Christ in your life. So I just pray that if we have any relationships that are out of sync, out of balance, that God would show us that and either remove them, remove us, or quickly get it together if it is supposed to be an ordained relationship. But that's my takeaway. Be honest, be integral, laugh a lot, find new experience to have with your friends, and respect their boundaries. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
that's what I got. Thank you
Definitely
for being
respect
my
their back. Oh
friend.
wow. Oh wow.
Okay.
Just
I want
just
to
wow.
get us copyrighted for singing a song that don't belong.
Right, because we trying to get monetized on YouTube because we trying to get this money. So I'm gonna need for us to get monetized. That
Okay.
means you can't be doing stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so for me, I think my takeaway would be ask God about it. Like a lot, like we'll pray about romantic relationships, we'll pray if this person is our husband, but when it comes to friends, we just take it how it comes, right?
Yeah.
Like if they're cool, if we like the same things, if we go to the same church or whatever the case is, oh, that's my friend. But is it really?
But is it really? It could just be an associate, and that's okay. Like,
Yeah,
it's okay for everybody not to be your friend. You can be friendly, but they don't have to be your friend and invited into, like Jerry said, there's levels, and everybody
it's
doesn't need to be
definitely
your
levels, and all of your friends are not your sisters,
friend.
because like I said before, that takes intimacy, that takes relationship, and that takes y'all going through some stuff together, because your sister is the one that's gonna be there when ain't nobody else there.
Yeah. And
Like,
I think for married women, I know that like I said in the beginning that I love being with my husband, but it's important for married women to have solid sisterhood. It is really, really, really important for married women to have solid sisterhoods.
absolutely. And as married women, all your friends do not have to be married.
Okay, we don't. That is, listen. We about to be here for another hour with that conversation, because girl, like that is the dumbest mentality to me, that single women and married women can't be friends. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That's dumb. Boundaries, yes, right? But why can't we be friends? So you mean to tell me if you and I are friends, you got married and I'm still single, our friendship is just null and void?
It now that does happen sometimes, but necessarily the married friend wants it to happen, but sometimes because you're not as accessible, and that's understandable. However, y'all can work that out.
Right.
Have a conversation about boundaries. Have a conversation about, like sometimes I won't be able to answer the phone.
Or show up
Now,
every
if
weekend.
y'all weren't real friends in the first place, I can see that friendship dissolving. If
Yeah,
y'all
but
were
if
just
we're friends,
acquaintances, if y'all, were trauma bonding and now you're trying to come out of that, that's one thing. If you haven't listened to our episode about trauma bonding, go
listen,
find it wherever you get your podcast. I don't know if
um,
we did we do that on video?
I don't know. I'm about to check right now.
Yeah, check, because that was an amazing episode about trauma bonding with God, but other people too. So go listen to that. But yeah, so like if you're married, you can have, it's okay to have single friends. Like
Mhm.
not all your friends want your man. Now, if you got some friends that are suspect and that be going around sleeping with married men, I would keep your husband far away from them. That's all I'm saying. But if you got some integral friends that just happen to be single, run with it.
Yeah.
Like friendship is friendship whether you're single or you're married. Like
Yep. We recorded it on here.
it's on YouTube.
Yep.
So yeah, so go to our YouTube channel and
And you
find
can
the
put it in the
episode
show
about
notes, right?
yes, and find the episode about trauma bonding, because that was a really great episode. It's a good resource. In it we talked about trauma bonding with God and what that looks like and how we can stop doing it and
Yes.
have a healthy relationship with the Father and other people. But yeah, y'all, it's okay to have single friends.
Absolutely.
I promise it's okay.
It is.
Um, because if you think that all your friends just want to sleep with your man, I got a few questions. Number
Yeah.
one, what kind of friends do you have?
Yes.
Number
Number
one.
two, what kind of man do you have?
Number two, what kind of man do you have?
And number three, what kind of mind do you have? Okay.
Hmm, that part.
Because if that is the thought that you have about your friends, that means they were suspect before you got married.
Before.
Just saying.
And if that's the case, you need to ask the Lord what you need to do about that.
I
That's
don't
all
even
I'm
think you
saying.
need to ask the Lord. You need to
You
just
really don't. I was just trying to give you an
put
out.
them
Put
in
you
what Tiffany say, in the dumpster and set them off. No, I'm
not
about to get
set
us in.
not
Not
set
set the
them.
friendship on fire.
Not set them. We're not setting people on fire. We do not
Jerry,
do
wrap
that.
this podcast up. Because
What
I'm
is
about
happening?
to get us banned for singing a song. I'm about to get us banned for
Jesus,
dumpster fire.
Jesus, fix it.
Please, Lord. Please.
But yeah, so we wanted to come on. We wanted to talk about friendship and sisterhood because it's important. And we just wanted to give y'all some insight into our friendship, our sisterhood. I know y'all see us together a lot because we are really together a lot. Me and Takesha go to the same church. And even if we didn't go to the same church, we will still be like this. Like, right? Because sometimes what happens is like you'll meet a person in a certain setting and then maybe you're not in that setting anymore and you're like, oh, we're not really friends.
Why? And
Why?
maybe it was a situational friendship. And I think that's what we have to
And that's a
understand and
thing.
recognize what type of friendship it is, right? Um,
I
I was
got
looking at them.
uh-uh.
Oh, but yeah, like Dr. Rhonda said, right? You have to be careful with hidden agendas, but that's when we pray over our friendships, right? We
Yeah.
should not stop praying for our friends and our friendships, and we should not stop. We should continue to seek the face of the Father because He'll show us the hidden things. Because sometimes we do, right? We begin to have blinders on when we are in a relationship with somebody, and we kind of let things slide or let things go under the rug, and we stop taking notice of what's happening. But don't ever stop praying for your friends and your friendships, because if there's something like we talked about in the Hill Rib room today, if something is now coming into your sphere of influence, I want eyes to see it.
Yeah.
And if it ain't supposed to be here, I need to take authority over it and get it up out of here. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. And so, yeah, and it's a good idea to just take inventory of your friendships
yes,
anyway.
And are they brunch friendships? Great. Are these the friends you go to brunch with? Great. Are these the friends you go shopping with? Great. Are these the friends you pray with? Great. Are these the friends you do all of the above with? Great, right? Like you said, Jerry,
Like
there are
you
different
just need to
levels.
know.
And
Cause
when you know the level of the friendship, I think you save yourself from being brokenhearted.
you
Because if
do.
all we do is go to brunch together, you know what I'm saying? If only thing our conversations consist of is us sending funny TikToks to each other, and then now I want to call you because I need, somebody to stand in agreement with me, and you're like, yeah, no, you know what I mean? Or you're just like, you send
But
me crazy
why?
hand emojis, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And then you get frustrated and upset. No, you need to know the level of your friendship. They are not all the same, and that's okay.
Right. So just take me and Takesha for instance. Takesha is not my friend that I can call on the weekend at the last minute and say, let's go somewhere. Because she's going to tell me, absolutely not. I'm out in these streets with my husband.
With my man, okay?
Her man. Right? But if I tell Takesha 2 weeks in, if I tell.
You about to tell my business? You about to call me out in the streets?
If I tell Takesha a month in advance, I might get a yes. Depending
So
on if
it
it's
depends on
football
the month,
season,
right?
yes.
Exactly. This is why you need to know your friends, because my
Right.
friends know our son plays college football. And if you're looking for me on the weekends between August and November,
It
my
depends on the
answer is
weekend.
no. My answer is no. Don't invite me. If it's an off, like if it's a away game, possibly. You know what I mean? Well, all the games for us are away because we're in different states from our son. But if it's an away game for them, depending upon where it is, it may be a yes for me. It may be like, yes, bet, I'm in town, let's get it. But August to November, December, count me out, sis. Don't invite me no way on the weekends. Don't. You can
Yeah.
ask me, but
Right.
it's gonna be a strong maybe on the not side. You know what I mean? But
And so this is what I do at the beginning of every school year. I tell
what's the
Takesha to
schedule?
check the schedule. Are you available these days? Are you available my birthday? Are you available this date? When are you available during football season?
We
Because
just had
I
this
know
conversation, right? I was
we
like, oh yes,
literally
that's an
did.
away game. Yeah, we good, we good, we
Like
got
we
this.
good. And so you literally have to know your friends. That's why I love that we're not really strangers friendship game, because
Yes.
it allows you the opportunity to
Y'all
really
need to
get
come
to know
over.
people.
We need to do that game. We should do that in
We
person. We should
should.
get some ramen. No, we could do the game at the restaurant with the ramen, because I don't want to bring the ramen home. Like I need to eat it right there.
So yeah, it's this ramen place in Atlanta. Well, it's in Alpharetta. It's like the best thing that
That
Jesus could have
broth
ever created.
and those, what are they called? Bao? How do you pronounce the buns? The like soft buns
I just
with
call
the
it the I think
bun?
they are bao. BAOO, I think, something like that. But yeah, the shrimp buns and the chicken buns there are so. Oh, now I'm hungry. So let's get past this. But yeah, know your friends. Get to know your friends.
Yeah.
Like if your friend is a brunch friend, like get to know them. Ask questions. Like to get to know, I'm good for asking a question.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
we
Don't do
know.
that.
Sometimes it's like, why? Just why?
Tiffany
Just why?
knows too. Like I will randomly be like, what about such and such such? They be like, what?
Call
Why
me
are you
later, yo.
asking me that?
And then
Like,
she don't ask you the question through text. Like she calls you on FaceTime.
no, I will. Yes, I will call you. I want you to hear
What
my
you doing?
voice when I ask this question.
Like, what you doing? Nothing. So just spit it out, Jerry. Just what do you what?
I'm just saying, because I just be needing to know. That's all
Give me
I'm saying.
7 to 10 business days to
No,
respond.
I can't do it.
And then she just sits there and be like, I'm like, I don't know. She's like, sure you do. I don't
Yeah, so if you've had issues finding friends, being a friend, maintaining or retaining friends, ask God to show you who your friends are supposed to be. Like I think that we forget that we can pray about that, because ever since we were little, friends just been proximity, right? Like we was in kindergarten together, we've been friends.
Ooh,
What?
that's good. That was good. Since we were kids, friends have been based on proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. So they were like built-in friends.
Yeah, we had built-in friendships. We went to school together, we went to church together, we played sports together. My mama know your mama, whatever the case is. And so now that we're adults, we gotta figure this thing out, y'all.
We do.
Because
Go
we
out and make a
listen,
friend.
yeah, go
We should
make a
host
friend.
a meetup. Scratch that. Just can we wrap this up? I'm about to do like I used to do at 9 o'clock at night. Because now I'm about to host an event.
That you were supposed to host last year? No, earlier this year.
Wrap it up. Yes, Tiffany, let you sit there and process the question, right? I know, Tiffany.
I sure will let you sit there and process because I be really
Isn't
wanting to
this
know
what
the
they do
answer.
behind the cameras
I'm not. You're not the producer of the
when
show.
it's time
I
to go to
am.
a commercial break
You're not the producer. I am. You
and
forgot?
cut?
Do you want to be the producer? Okay then. But yeah, so I am good for asking a good question. And in my defense, a lot of times it's honestly not me, Jerry, asking the question. A lot of time it's God talking in my ear, telling me to ask you this question
That is
so
true.
that you can process the situation, whatever it is. Because half the time I don't be knowing.
That is true. That
I'd be
is true.
like, so such and such such. She'd be like, I was like, oh, you were?
That is true.
Okay. But yeah, get to know your friends. If you want to make friends, you have to be a friend. You have to show yourself friendly. So if you're out at an event, don't be all at the table by yourself with your mean mug or your RBF on. I'm not gonna say that on camera, but don't be having your RBF on. Like change it up. Change
I
it up.
literally was like, I was thinking, what I was thinking of.
What were you thinking of? Can you say
I
it on
was
camera?
yes, I was thinking
Okay.
about protection, right? So in my brain, I heard you say RFID. Like the thing that is in wallet now, like
What is
to
wrong with
protect your
you?
your identification and your credit cards and all that kind of stuff and your debit cards. That's RFID is where, and I was like, oh, like a force field, and then I'm like, no, that's not that is
That is not it. RBF is what I was saying. So show
arresting
yourself
men
for
out of shape face.
yeah that we'll go with that.
Yes.
Show yourself friendly because how are people gonna know that you're a good friend if you just be mean mugging and you be all to yourself. Now listen, sometimes I understand
Yeah.
because I am an extroverted introvert. I love being by myself. Give me a good book, a good Netflix show, and listen, you
I'm
finna
good.
hear from me. You
You
finna hear
know,
from me, right? But because of who God has created me to be, I find myself popping up at events
thank
like
God.
book signings.
Thank God for that. But you know what, to your point, Jerry, about what our faces look like, I remember in high school, I didn't develop a association with a person in high school, at the time. But when we were going through our senior year and, senior week, you go on trips and all that kind of stuff. And during our senior week, she was like, this girl that I went to high school with, she was like, you're really cool. And I was like, it took you, I mean, we've been in high school together in the same
For four
classes together
years.
for 4 years. It took you all this time because I was in like our high school was a high school within a high school. It was what they know now as magnet schools, but it was
Okay.
within the school, right? And so we took all of our same classes together. Like we were literally isolated within a school. Like the only thing we took with the mainstream kids, as we called them, was like gym and health. But
Oh
all of
wow.
our classes was designated specifically for us, right? And so when we were going through our senior week, she said, "You really cool," and I was like, it took you 4 years to figure that out, baby. I've been cool, right? That's what I wanted to say. And I was like, why would you say that? And she said, because you always look mean. And I was like, I didn't even know that I had a built-in resting get out of my face. And so now I am intentional because of that conversation. You always see me smiling. Like I'm always
I
smiling.
am too. So I
You know
had
what
a
I
similar
mean? Because
experience.
I didn't realize that. And she was just like, you are like, and I was like, girl, maybe ask about me. But because of my face, I always gave off a get away from me. I had my friends, you know what I mean? Like we were cool, but I guess to the outside world, I didn't look approachable. And you know, now that I smile all the time, people be approaching me and I'll be like, where you come from? You know what I mean? Like you got to take the good with the bad type of deal, you know?
So I
But
can
yeah, be
relate to
aware.
that.
Be aware
Yeah,
of your face. Be
absolutely.
aware.
I can relate to that because I had a similar situation where somebody was like, "Oh, I thought you were stuck up." What?
You
Yes. Well,
I
in
can
my
see
defense,
like
before
in your resting state, I can understand that. But I know you, so your resting state is just an opportunity to say what you thinking about. Because I love to know
right,
what you're thinking
because you
about.
know a
Because I know
million
that
things be going
something
through
is
my head.
happening. I know that there's a plan being formulated, so I'll be wanting in like what you thinking about, what you and God talking about, what's happening.
Right.
I want to know.
But
I want
yeah,
to.
they was like, I really thought you were stuck up because you're quiet.
You
You
are
always, because
so.
I used to really dress a certain way. Like y'all see me in hoodies now. I used to always have on heels. And so that's how my
When
husband
you
met me.
go
So
out, you still wear heels.
not since COVID, not really.
Well, not since the good brother Douglas is, you know, the sneaker plug.
Yeah. So you can catch me in some Jordans and a sweatshirt, right? But I used to like I would dress up a lot, and I used to model, and so I would just do that. And so that's like, yeah, I thought you were really stuck up, but you are really nice and really
You are
cool. And I'm
so
like,
cool. You
well, thank
are really
you.
cool. You are really, that is the truth. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. You are really cool. Like, you are the kick it friend. Like, we could kick it. We
Like
can
we
sit
we
in
ain't
the
gotta
same house.
talk. Like
Look,
I can take a nap. We ain't gotta talk
we can talk all day, or we could
or
just sit in
not.
the It doesn't even matter. Like, there are times you have come and we have worked, and I'm working, you working, and
And we order pizza.
we oh, maybe we should have pizza. Pizza sounds good today. Yeah.
But yeah, so show yourself friendly.
Yeah.
Take inventory of your facial expressions because your face, it like before people even talk to you, depending on what your face looks like, it's gonna determine if they say something to you or not.
Yeah.
It's gonna determine how they approach you. And so
Yeah.
just take inventory of that and just know that even if you bombed in friendships before, it doesn't mean that you have to do it again. So Takesha tells y'all all the time she was a horrible friend. I
Oh,
didn't know her when she was
thank
a
the Lord,
horrible friend.
because we wouldn't be friends
Um,
today.
I don't know. We might. I don't know.
Oh,
No.
no.
Okay. You was that bad?
I wasn't really nice.
Oh, then no, because I don't do mean people. Sorry.
I wasn't a mean girl.
Like either you were nice or you were mean. Which one is it?
I wasn't nice,
I'm confused now.
but I wasn't. I was mean. Let me shut up. I was mean. I was.
Were you like
And
outwardly mean,
I
or
was
were you like
outwardly,
secretive
here's
mean?
the thing. I was outwardly mean and I was outwardly haughty. To the point, I don't know if my auntie Glow is still on him, but she used to call me Miss 5000.
No,
She used to
why?
call me Miss 5000. And the funny thing is because once I started getting my life together, that thing hit my heart so hard because I was like, you were extremely haughty. She wasn't
Wow.
calling you Miss 5000 as a compliment. She was like, settle down, little girl. But my aunt is so loving. Like, when I tell you, she is so loving. You know how people say, oh, I'll give you the shirt off your back. No, she literally will be like, hold on. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And when I started to come to myself and I was like, you were a freaking mess. You were a mess. You were a mess.
Wow.
I was a mess. Oh, thank you for deliverance, Jesus. Thank you for deliverance. But
So
yeah,
see y'all, case in point, you don't always have to be the
you can
way
be
that you are.
delivered.
You can
Can we go? I gotta go because you know if I talk too long, I just get really ridiculous. But I can stay here all day. You was a mess. Your conversation was short. Yeah, I was very short. I wasn't very nice. I was a mess. My cousin, even one of my closest, my cousin Toya is one of my closest friends. And she was like, "Girl, I didn't like you for a long time because you was a mess."
Not your own cousin
Only
saying that she
like
didn't
when you
like
used to
you.
hang with these certain people, she's like, "I did not like you at all. You was a mess." Like even with my friend Jamila, like Jamila is my sister. Like we became sisters here. Like I
Yeah.
prayed for the community that we lived in. And Jamila and I hit it off from the gate. You know what I mean? And she and I ran into our first opposition in our friendship recently. Like she was over there being stubborn, I was over here being stubborn, and our husbands was like, "Get it together." But neither one of us knew that the other had an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew I had an issue. She knew she had an issue, but I didn't know she had an issue with me, and she didn't know I had an issue with her because something happened. You know what I mean? Like when there's a mutual things
Yeah, yeah.
happening, you just kind of be like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a back seat. But when we had a conversation, she said, "You know me," and I was like, "You're right, I do.
Mm.
You're right. I do." And we just said, don't let that happen again. You know what I mean? And to me, I think that's what sisterhood is. And
That's
sometimes
exactly what it
if you
is.
hit a rough place and maybe you've never had opposition in your friendship before and you're not sure how they're going to receive it, or if you got to have a hard conversation. So we went into our own corners, but we knew that our sisterhood was stronger than
Than
us not
whatever it
being.
was. Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like it was stronger than that, you know? So if there is opposition happening, you know, in your friendship and you may think they wasn't my real friend, they just may not know how to address the situation. They may not know how to come to you. So pray about it. Because if the friendship is worth friendshiping, the you know,
Did
salvaging,
you say if the
I
friendship is
told
worth friendshiping?
yeah, the friendship is worth it. Fight for your friendship, you know. And if the
Yeah.
thing about it is if you have a situation where it is opposition and you go to your friend and they treat you horribly,
That's one thing, right? But if there's a conversation after the opposition and you
yeah.
come to an understanding, let it ride.
And if that understanding is, you know what, I don't want to be in this friendship anymore because I don't want to. Some people don't know how to deal with the experience of hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just may need to separate themselves. And even if that hurts you, you have to be okay with that and let them, you know, let them process in the way that's good for them. But if you are in a situation where you're not talking to your friend because there was a falling out, misunderstanding, unspoken, you know what I mean, something happening, go talk to your friend. Pray for wisdom on when to do it, but go talk to your friend. If it's worth salvaging, go talk to your friend. Because
Yeah.
I love Jamila. I couldn't imagine like my life without her. You know what I
Right, right,
mean?
right.
So,
Yeah.
but I was just like, I don't know how she gonna take it. I don't, you know what I mean? And she throwing her and like, I don't know how she. And then when we talked about it, we was like, you so dumb. You know what I mean? It's like,
Not you're so dumb.
girl, you could have told me that 6 months ago, type of deal. You know what I mean? And it's like we just weren't sure because we had never had that experience.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
now we know, like, if that happens again, don't be waiting those 6 months to talk. I don't even know how long it was, but don't be waiting. You know, you may need to process it in your own mind, but don't do that. Don't,
Right.
because
Right,
when
right.
you have a, if you have, when you have opposition, no matter how much you say we're still friends, we're still connected, you slowly start distancing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You slowly start distancing yourself.
Well,
So,
me, if I have opposition with you, it's not slowly.
well, I don't want to find that out. So I can't say, you know, I know because I don't know and I
No,
won't know.
you don't know. And you better not ever find out.
What did I have to now? Now I'm getting like,
I'm just saying.
how did we get
Cause
here?
then I have a problem for real. I'd be like, bruh,
How did we
bruh,
ridiculous?
bruh. But yeah, y'all. So today we just wanted to come on and talk about sisterhood and friendship because it is absolutely important to talk about. Get to know your friends. Like I said, today we played the game We're Not Really Strangers, the friendship edition. You can find it on Amazon. There's another place where you can find it, but I don't want to make Takesha mad, so we're not gonna go there. Um, yeah, I'm not going there with you today. And
Text.
so yeah, Target.
Oh,
Exactly. That's why I didn't say it. But yeah, so
and we need to stop shouting out names. We ain't sponsored yet. And get them Reese's out the back of you. They ain't sponsoring us.
the Reese's are gonna stay there.
They are not sponsoring this video.
Fine. But Reese's, if you happen to hear this and you want to sponsor your girls, we are open to it. Just saying.
Period.
Just saying. But yeah, y'all, that's all we got for y'all today. We just wanted to come on and play the game and talk about friendship. We pray that you got something out of this crazy episode on today that went extremely long.
To our FaceTime conversations. Girl, this
Yes.
podcast has been going on for almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
We might need to break this up into 2 parts. So this is what you get when you join us live. You get the raw, real, uncut deal of our podcast. And if you're watching it on YouTube, you get the full uncut. It's a little more tailored when you go over to like the Spotify's and the Apple iTunes and stuff like that. But
not really.
Oh, well, welcome.
They just can't see us.
Yeah.
On Spotify and Apple, but it's the same audio. But yeah,
you be
we love
slicing and dicing. You be cutting up and making it pretty.
Not anymore because I don't have the time.
So you need to teach. No, never mind.
I will gladly teach you. I will gladly
joining us on this episode of Dear Christian Black Girl, where we talk about your friends.
Yes.
Ooh, maybe I should do voiceovers.
You have a very voiceover voice.
Do I really?
Yes. Your corporate voice, people will pay some good money for that.
That's why when I was talking to a client, she was like, representative. And I was like,
She thought you were the computer. Oh yeah, you told me about that. That was funny.
I said, I'm a real person. Representative. I was like, and she hung up because a representative didn't show up.
She thought you was the robot. But yeah, y'all get to know your friends. Make new friends. Like, don't be like Tiffany with the whole no new friends attitude. And I'm picking on Tiffany. But no, seriously, don't be like that because you need people in your life. Yeah. Like, this is not the type of life. Oh, Tiffany, are you trying to come on camera? Shake your head, yes or no.
And don't be desperate for friends where you just go out and get anybody.
Yeah, no, don't do that because you'll get the wrong people. Yeah. But don't be like open. Tiffany and say no new friends.
Yeah, be open.
Drake, that was my theme song. No, new. That was my theme song.
Don't do that. Don't do it.
But thank you for joining us. Oh, we could say goodbye with the three of us.
Yes. Tiffany, you got any last remarks for the people?
Don't give that sister word out. If they're not your biological sister, don't give that sister word out. Allow people to earn their position in your lives. Now, don't make it hard for them. Like don't be having these long lists of scroll all the way up to heaven or somewhere of expectations. But, treat people as you want them to treat you. But also teach people how to handle you properly. And if something ain't right, it's just not right. But don't be out here, sis. No, stop doing it.
I can't. Don't be sissing everybody.
Don't do that. Stop doing it. For real. Stop doing it. Because you sit around and get mad because, well, you're my sister. I thought she was my sister. And she's like, girl, no.
I don't know what you thought that for.
We were just cool because I like you a good wig shopper person for me. I wasn't trying to know you like that. Like, don't do that. Don't get yourself caught up. And then your feelings is hurt.
Amen,
so stop giving them sister badges out. Like, it's weird. You do not, if somebody feels like that they have to move, y'all have to move in a unit. As a Girl Scout troop number 6,
you in this Girl Scout troop,
buddy.
Because okay, me and my sister, my older sister, we were brownies when we were in elementary school. And so it's like you meet together. We were cheerleaders. So it's like, you do everything together. We wearing the same uniform together. We got to go to the sleepovers together. We got to do everything with the cheerleading people. And if you
But what if my individual style is not her individual style? Then what?
Exactly. And some people feel like, no, we got to do it all together. Or if I don't like her, then you shouldn't like her. Like, I ain't got no problem.
That is so dumb. I know we need to wrap this up because we've been on here for 2 hours, but can we please just talk about that real quick? Just because you got a problem with somebody doesn't mean that I have a problem with them.
We need to hear all sides. Let's hear all sides.
Yeah, let me hear everybody's side. What happened?
What happened?
Okay, she
The
said
real
this.
story, not just your side.
Right. Okay, she said this. Okay, she said this. What they got to do with me?
And why do you feel that way? Like, let's get to the root of things, because you know we've been dealing with roots. So let's get to the root of the situation. Why do you feel that way? Because sometimes you're sitting around here, you're offended by something because you were dealing with the spirit of offense.
Ooh.
And you don't want to be honest with yourself that
Ooh.
you are dealing with the spirit of offense. Honey, somebody getting in front of you in Walmart offends you. Oh, no, they didn't. And you mad, walking around here mad. Like, you got a problem. And so you need to deal with that. But I'm not gonna not just be somebody's friend because you don't like them. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You need to take it up with the Father and figure that thing of ministry of reconciliation out between you, him, and them. They ain't got to do with me. And that's it. Like, we're real. We were walking around here with some trauma issues and dealing with all these little pet demons, and then we feel like, oh, that's the person. That's you. No, you dealing with rejection. You dealing with abandonment. You dealing with offense. You walking around here don't know who you are and dealing with the imposter syndrome. That ain't them. That's you.
Did she say dealing with these pet demons?
Yeah. Just because they're not bringing destruction, you feeling like, oh, they ain't really doing nothing. They not hurting me. Yeah, they are. Because you walking around with this big boulder on your shoulder and mad at the world.
So
They
if you are listening to this after the live ends and you're on Spotify or Apple or Google, I need you to go to YouTube and find this. Because the facial expressions, number one. The pet demons though? Like
Yes.
Tiffany really just went off.
I'm just tired of us feeling like just because we go to church every Sunday and Wednesday, Tuesday or Thursday, and you participate in the choir or you usher, that you healed and whole. You're not. You were just going to church as part of your resume as a good person. And I go to church. Because that's what we as good people do. Stop doing it. And then you leave and then you're wondering like, God, why you answer my prayer? He like, baby, I don't even know if I seen you at the altar. Were you at the altar today? Do you come to the altar? Do you know where the altar is? Okay, get there and then I can help you. It ain't me, it's you. Let's just be real. Come on now. Let's stop with all this. For real. Time is wrapping up, people. Jesus is about to come back. We ain't got time to keep playing these little games. Figure that thing out. It's simple. You have a whole 66 books to guide you. Let's get in it and let's do some stuff.
Bruh.
Yeah. And Takesha got the one with 4 different versions in it. Like, yeah, 4 different versions. So if you're not getting it in KJV, you can go to the NIV. You don't go to, you can get it amplified. Amplify will give you some extra words to break it down and amplify that word. Like, you have more than one version to break it down. At this point, we can't keep staying in this just stuck place and then blaming the world for why we not moving. Like, and I'm a witness. Ask me how I know, because I felt like I can keep it small. I'm finna trim my lamp. I'm finna prepare myself for glory. And the devil he ain't bothering me because I ain't making no waves. And he was bothering me because he was like, I can't get the rest of them. They moving, they shaking, they going in the secret place. 1 minute they there, the next minute they're not. And then now I'm like, oh, well, you there? Oh, okay. I just keep hitting you. I'm gonna hit you with all the stuff that's supposed to be for them. And now you my easy target. Like, oh, y'all can't find. Oh, well, Tiffany's standing right there. Just get her. So let's get it together. Friendships and all. The whole relationship with God, with your friends. If you get it right with God, then it'll be easy with everybody else.
Soft plug last week, we talked about being God's daughter. Go listen to that.
Yes.
Go listen to that. Because that kicked off our whole relationship. Y'all, I know y'all didn't know this, but we're in a whole relationship series with this podcast. Last week it was being God's daughter. Today it was sisterhood and friendship. Tomorrow, I mean not tomorrow, but next week we might talk about romantic relationships. We might talk about business relationships. We don't know yet. We'll talk about it. We'll do a FaceTime call within the next 7 days and figure it out. But yeah, Tiffany just went off.
Period.
Period.
I'm sorry.
And that was today's episode of,
Dear Christian
that
Black.
was our 1 year anniversary episode of
Yeah.
Dear Christian Black Girl.
Yeah.
What about your friends?
Yeah. What about your friends?
I
I
was
know
about to
what my
start
friends are
singing.
doing. What about
I was
your
about to start
friends?
singing again.
What about your friends?
Thank
But
you for
y'all,
blessing
we
us with that truth, Tiffany. That,
absolutely, that's gonna be a whole clip.
yeah,
We love y'all. We thank y'all for rocking with us for a whole year.
in
We
two
could not
hours.
have
A whole year in two
in
hours.
2 hours.
Wow.
We could not have done this without y'all. We would let me rephrase that. We would not have done this without y'all.
No.
Thank y'all.
Cause me and Takesha good for be like, yeah, no, we're good.
Maybe next
But
time.
yeah. But y'all said y'all wanted this content, so here we are. I think I looked on the podcasters.spotify app the other day, and we are up to 4,000 plays.
Let's go. We are growing. Praise the
Yes,
Lord. Thank you all
we
so
are
much.
growing. So we love y'all for rocking with us. Make sure that if you haven't already, that you like, comment, and subscribe this video. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you don't really do YouTube like that, but you just happen to come across this, we are also on Spotify, Google, and Apple. And so, yeah,
Yeah. Thank
yeah.
you guys.
We love y'all. All right, y'all. That is a wrap for our anniversary friendship episode. We love y'all so much, and we will see y'all next week. Bye. Tiffany, what's wrong with your thing?
What?
Oh no, it sounded like it was skipping.
Oh, no. I had.
Oh, it didn't end.